Ladies and gentlemen, what's good? We're back with another Call of Duty mobile video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Like I promised you guys in our last video, today we are going to be going through our top 5 guns of Season 4 of Call of Duty Mobile. Obviously, June 3rd is coming really quickly, and with the championships getting here for Stage 1, obviously you guys want to be running the best guns possible as you get ready to hop into that. So, if you find this helpful, please do me a huge favor, make sure to drop a like down below. If you want to see some tips and tricks for going into Stage 1 as well, ways you can optimize your wins, I'm planning on doing a video for that, so make sure to subscribe if you guys do want to see that. But, without any more talking, we're going to go ahead and hop into the action. So those of you who have been watching the channel over the last week or two know that we've been talking a lot about the buffs and nerfs. Now with that being said, there's a lot of guns that actually didn't get changed all that much in the recent update, and those guns are still going to be a part of our top 5, but there are also some guns that dropped out and some that have risen up. So I'm excited to go through this one. We got a couple of new arrivals, couple honorable mentions as well, guns you should definitely give a try even though they're not going to make it into our top 5. The MSMC is one of the ones that got a lot of really nice buffs and is super fun to use, really good up close. The only reason it's not in our top 5 is because it lacks versatility, because it does get a lot more difficult to use in the mid to long range, but if you're a super aggressive player, definitely a really good option. Another honorable mention goes to basically 3 assault rifles that fall into pretty much the same category: the BK-57, the LK-24, and the KN-44. All 3 of those guns can be really good in the mid to long range. They don't have crazy fast up close time to kills, and it's really because there are some crazy fast time to kill guns that for some reason have really low recoil that makes those guns a lot more difficult to use. But the LK especially got a couple of buffs this season that make it really good and definitely really close to being in our top 5. But obviously, you guys are here for our top 5 guns in Call of Duty Mobile right now. So first up at number 5, we got a gun that's been in here for quite a while, and that's going to be the DRH. The DRH has been part of the 3-shot meta that's been in the game for a long time, but it's one of the 3-shot ARs that has really not been nerfed much at all throughout the entirety of its time in the game. While the Man-O-War and the ASM-10 have gotten really big nerfs to both the mobility and the ADS time of the guns, the DRH hasn't really gotten much of that, and it did get a slight nerf to the mobility in the recent update, but is still absolutely a great option because it has one of the fastest time to kills in the game. If you actually are able to hit at least one upper body shot, it has the fastest time to kill of all of these guns. Now obviously the thing that holds it back is number 1, it doesn't have as good a mobility, and number 2, it requires a relatively high amount of skill because you got to make sure that you're actually hitting that and also not hitting people in the arms. The fact that it has the slowest rate of fire of any gun on this list means that it's not going to be as forgiving whenever you do miss shots, but because they also reduce the amount of aim shake on guns pretty significantly in the recent update, bullet spread accuracy is not going to be as much of an issue, so this gun can be slightly more viable at long range. The gun pretty much has no horizontal recoil, but despite that, we actually got a buff to the Ranger barrel, which means it's going to reduce horizontal recoil even more. So because of that, there's not much need for the MIP strike stock. If you want to go mega ADS bullet spread build, then you can throw on the strike stock instead of the no stock, but this is a good build that'll allow you to play up close and personal with a lot of the SMGs that are going to be on this list, while at the same time having a good amount of range that you can work with. Coming in at number 4, we actually have an assault rifle that used to be one of my least favorite assault rifles in the game, but they buffed it 2 or 3 times since the time it was actually put into the game, and that is going to be the ASVAL, or the ASVAL. Gosh, Noah, why do you have me saying that? One of the biggest downsides to the ASVAL previously was that it was the only gun in the game, at least in multiplayer, that had actual bullet travel. So because of that, it made it a lot less consistent than most other assault rifles and SMGs. However, in the recent update, they not only buffed the bullet velocity on the gun, but they also increased the base mag size, and those were really the 2 biggest downsides of the gun. Now with that being said, it does have relatively high recoil, so this one's going to be tougher to use in the mid to long range, and surprisingly enough, the last 3 guns on this list are going to be SMGs that are actually all easier to use at long range than this assault rifle. But with that also being said, it absolutely shreds at close range. It's got crazy high headshot damage, which means if you land 1 headshot, you can actually manage to 3-shot with this, which is crazy given its rate of fire. Following the recent update, it was actually the first time we've seen it being used regularly in the competitive scene, so a number of pro players making the switch to this. Obviously looking for other options, with players banning the use of a lot of the guns that are in our top 3 right now. I actually copied this build off one of the pro players that I saw using it, and it absolutely shreds. You guys probably saw it in one of the recent videos on the channel, so definitely give it a try, especially if you're sick of all the SMG spam happening in the game right now. Now we're moving into the top 3, and if I'm being totally honest, these top 3 are just in a completely separate league from the number 4 and 5 guns. Not because the number 4 and 5 guns are bad, but because these top 3 are so ridiculously good at so many different things. For a while, people had been asking me what the top 5 guns of the season were, and I didn't really know what to say other than I know what the top 3 are. And in my opinion, numbers 2 and 3 are kind of interchangeable just based on your playstyle, but personally, at number 3, I've got the PP19. Obviously, the PP19 was introduced last season, and it is an absolutely incredible gun for a number of different reasons. It has significantly above average time to kill, pretty much no recoil, it has the magazine size of an LMG, it has the mobility of an SMG, and it has the range of an assault rifle. Combine those 3 aspects and you basically have the perfect respawn gun, because anytime you have a decent amount of information about where enemies are coming from, you can pre-fire angles all day long and still have enough bullets left to finish off the gunfight. You could very well be surrounded by 3 opposing players, and if you got quick fix equipped, easily take out all 3 of them if you got the right amount of movement and aim. There really isn't any downside to this gun, and the only reason that I don't personally have it in the top 2 is because the top 2 guns on this list are so freaking good. I personally would consider this to be the most beginner-friendly gun on the entire list, so if you're relatively new to Call of Duty Mobile but you got it leveled up, definitely give this build a try. This overall is just going to make life really, really easy because the marksman's going to reduce the horizontal recoil, which is also pretty much non-existent to start with. The large caliber ammo is going to make it so that you do the same amount of damage to the upper body as you do the leg, so even though you're losing out on a little bit of range, the marksman's going to make up for that, and you got all the ammo in the world, so even if you're missing a few shots, you don't really have to worry all that much about reloading. PP19 was actually one of the only guns in Season 4 that didn't get any kind of buff or nerf, so obviously, as one of the previous top 2s, it had to be in our top 3. Coming in at number 2, most of you have probably already guessed that, and that's going to be the QQ9. Even though it's no longer at number 1, the QQ9 is definitely still the king of close quarter combat. It, alongside the PP19, did not get any type of buff or nerf coming into Season 4 of Call of Duty Mobile. So because of that, you still have the crazy ADS movement speed, you got the crazy ADS time, you got the crazy time to kill, you got the crazy hip fire accuracy. This is actually going to kill faster than any of our other top 3 guns. Once again, the only reason that this is not at number 1 is because the number 1 option is probably the strongest SMG in Call of Duty Mobile history. And to be honest, this QQ9 prior to our number 1 was probably the best SMG in Call of Duty Mobile history. You can build out the QQ9 a lot of different ways, and to be honest, this is probably not the best build for it anymore, because if you're gonna use the QQ9, I would recommend going max mobility, full out, all aggression, because the QQ9 is without a doubt the best gun for aggressive players. Like I said before, it's got the fastest time to kill of any of the top 3 guns on this list, so personally, I would recommend probably switching from the strike stock over to the no stock, because that is going to give you absolute ridiculous mobility to shred anybody in your path. I get a lot of people asking about this. I don't recommend using the 30-round reload because it slows down your rate of fire by 10%, which is a pretty big loss and definitely reduces the majority of the reason that you would use the QQ9. If you want to go absolutely psycho-aggressive, you can also throw on the MIP tactical barrel and you'll just be flying past everybody on the map. And coming in at number 1, you guys have probably already guessed it, made a video about it. I said it was the only gun that you need in Season 4 of Call of Duty Mobile, and that's going to be the QXR. Now, I've said before that the QXR was buffed harder than any other gun in the game. There were some people that didn't believe me, so I'll just go ahead and read off for you guys all the buffs that it got. Added 1.2 damage multiplier to the upper and lower chest. Increased headshot multiplier from 1.1 to 1.3. Increased the base rate of fire from 800 to 872. Increased the enhanced bolt rate of fire from 920 all the way up to 1003, which makes it the second fastest firing gun in the game, right behind the Fennec, which actually got a massive nerf in the sprint to fire speed. The initial damage phase range was increased by 1.4 meters. Secondary range was increased by 3 meters. Tertiary range was increased by 8.1 meters. The only nerf that the gun got was a reduction in the ADS time by 1 frame if you're on 60 FPS. And it also got a buff to the mobility and the ADS mobility. The QXR was already a decent option. With all those changes, no question in my mind, it is now the best gun in Call of Duty Mobile. With the right build, it has very, very low recoil and is actually going to kill faster at long range than the PP-19 or the QQ9. The rate of fire on the enhanceable is also going to mean that even if you miss a couple shots, it's not going to cost you quite as much because you can make up for it with the following shots. So even though you might not have the actual time to kill as fast as the QQ9 up close because the rate of fire is faster, if you miss a shot, that means your time to kill is going to be penalized less. This has been the QXR build that I've been running all season long, and it's absolutely shredding. There's really a lot of different ways that you can build it out, but because you got the monolithic suppressor on here as well, that gives you a little bit of stealth to go along with all the mobility that you're getting from the light barrel and the no stock. The one absolute must-have attachment, obviously going to be the enhanceable to give you that 1003 rate of fire. But that's going to close out our top 5 guns for Season 4 of Call of Duty Mobile. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If it was, please do me a huge favor. Make sure to drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe to the squad if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next one.